So we call it playoff or takeoff. Are you a playoff team or takeoff? And it largely, there's a lot of things to consider. How the season ended, your schedule, and here we go.
And now, Colin will decide if a team is headed for the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Or taking off for vacation.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please strap yourself in securely.
It's playoff or takeoff.
Here we go.
The 49ers, playoff or takeoff?
Playoffs?
This goes playoff for two reasons. Number one, they had 31 players last year on the injured reserve list. That's the most in the league. So they had to overcome insane injuries, including to their quarterback. Probably won't happen again. They also have, and this is hard to imagine based on the division they're in, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL based on last year's opponents' records. Now consider, they're in the division with the Rams and the Seahawks. So their out-of-division schedule is cream puff city by NFL standards. So I believe as long as Garoppolo can get you to about week 8, we'll see what Trey Lance becomes. I say they're a playoff team.
How about the Bears?
I would say takeoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Yeah.
Please strap yourself in securely.
Here's the problem. They ended the season poorly. They have a quarterback dilemma. They were 1-7 against teams that were above 500 and made the playoffs last year. So I always look, who are you beating? They ended poorly and didn't beat high-quality teams. I also think Minnesota in division will be arguably the most improved team in the league, so I don't think they get there.
The Bengals.
That's a takeoff as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Yeah.
Please strap yourself in securely.
Obvious reasons. They're still in the middle of a rebuild, and it's arguably the best division in sports. I think their offensive line and their wide receiving core is getting steadier, but until they can show me they can protect Joe Burrow, and they were so bad at that last year, you got to go up against Pittsburgh's front seven, Baltimore's front seven, and Myles Garrett. I just don't think he's going to have enough time to make throws and grow, so I don't see him as a playoff team.
How about their in-division Browns?
That's a playoff team. That's an easy one.
Playoffs?
Yeah. First of all, third easiest schedule in the league, and they return all 11 offensive starters. So you have a coach of the year, you bring back the same unit. They're going to score a lot of points. The question's really for them, their interior of their defensive line, and how quickly can their secondary with several new pieces gel. I don't think it'll take long. I think it's a good coaching staff. So that's a playoff team.
How about the Arizona Cardinals?
Sorry, but this is takeoff time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Lost 6-9 to close out the year. Open 3 of 4 games on the road. So all of a sudden you find yourself in a little bit of a hole. Now I will say the front office built this team to win now. A.J. Green, J.J. Watt. So they did it to build a winning team now. I don't see it. I don't think they're bad. I mean, last year they were 500. They're not going to be a bad team. That's not the question. The question is, can they win enough games, and their schedule's tough.
The Colts.
That's a playoff team.
Playoffs?
Listen, Frank Reich has made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. They were one of the few teams in the league last year, only 5, that were top 10 offense and defense. I worry about some of their star players not being vaccinated in the COVID protocols. You lose a Darius Leonard or a Carson Wentz for a game, it's a whole new ball game. But I think this is one of the more intriguing teams to watch because they have one of the deeper running back sets in the league. Michael Pittman became a star. The offensive line's good. And they're not terribly quarterback-centric. They can run the football on you and eat clock. That's what they did a lot last year. So I think it's a playoff team in a weird, bad division at the bottom.
The Dallas Cowboys.
I think they're a playoff team.
Playoffs?
Here's the thing. After the Tampa game, they don't play a playoff team from last year until November 21st. So they're facing either rebuilding teams, new coaches, new quarterbacks, new staffs. And they have the second easiest schedule in the league. It's a bad division. So you don't have to love Dallas, and I don't, for them to peel off 9 or 10 wins. You start looking at that schedule post-Tampa, there are a lot of new coaches and a lot of new quarterbacks and a lot of new staffs.
How about the Philadelphia Eagles?
People like them more than I do. I see it as a bad takeoff team.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
They were fine against average teams, 3-3-1 against non-playoff teams. They were terrible against playoff teams, 1-8. Now, I will say this. Tight end and wide receiver units will be strong. If their offensive line, it's old, can stay healthy, they should be able in that division to move the football against everybody except Washington. So, I've said before, there's too much noise inside this operation. I don't see them as a good football team at all, but I do see them, Jalen Hurts moving around. I do see them putting points up.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bad team. I don't think we have a takeoff. This is
Ladies
bad.
and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Yeah, that's bad. Listen, they not only lost, they had the second worst point differential in the league. So this is a total gut job. Outside a wide receiver, not a single unit that is even good. I do think their defensive line, they've drafted it. There's some promising young players in their defensive front, and the division's bad. So I think they're going to lose a lot, but can they lose close and competitively? That's a win for them if they win 4-5 and lose competitively often.
Your Carolina Panthers.
I'm not. This is very much in the air. As of this morning, it's takeoff. But
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Okay, they got two things going for them. They were 3-8 in games decided by one possession. That was the most in the league. The way it works in the NFL, if you win a lot of one-possession games one year, it evens out. If you lose a lot of one-possession games, it evens out. Their schedule's not terribly difficult. Rebuilding Saints, rebuilding Atlanta. They open with the Jets. But this is a rebuild, and they're very good at running back and wide receiver, and they got more athletic juice at quarterback. I don't think this offensive line can match up with the teams on their schedule as of this morning to be a playoff team, but I have a right to pause.
The New England Patriots.
It's a playoff team for a couple reasons.
Playoffs?
One of the reasons is it's an easy schedule. 7 of the 9 opponents of their first 9 opponents. Because we all agree Mac Jones will get there eventually, but it's going to be choppy. 7 of the first 9 opponents, non-playoff teams. So now the division's better, but you start, we did this the other day. You look at New England's schedule, you can see them ball controlling. I mean, Cam Newton was 2 plays within beating Seattle and Buffalo last year with no preseason and 8 opt-outs. So this team spent $122 million on free agents. The offense is going to have more juice. So they're going to, if they can give you 24 points a weekend, which is reasonable, it looks like to me a 10-win team and 11-win team.
How about the Saints?
Takeoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Emmanuel Sanders, gone. Michael Thomas, not around early. Jared Cook, gone. I don't know what they have at wide receiver. Like, this is a tough ask. I think this is the weakest wide receiving core until Michael Thomas comes back in the league. They have a long road, and I don't think they can. They got a quarterback who can throw over the top. They don't have a receiver who can go over the top.
Finally, a team you were very high on, Washington football team.
It's a playoff team to me.
Playoffs?
First of all, 2 good receivers. They also acquired Curtis Samuel, right? And offensive line's good enough. Antonio Gibson had 11 touchdowns as a rookie. I don't see the holes on this team. I think they solved a corner issue. Their defensive front is great. Quarterback, can they win? Listen, Miami won 10 last year with Fitzpatrick. I think in a bad division, they're the best of bad. This is the team I like more than everybody else in the universe. I think Washington's a 10 or 11 football team. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.